I mean, I'm a meat eater, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but it's pretty cruel how things get done. You know?
Okay.
And I can admit that.
Yeah. And do you think there's a way to do it that's not cruel?
I'm sure they can find a way. I don't know too much about it, but I'm sure they could find a way that's less cruel or...
Less cruel, that's the thing, right?
That's the thing, yes.
It's always just trying to find a better way to do the wrong thing,
So
you think?
are you vegan or like...
Yep.
So how long have you been vegan?
I've been vegan about 3 years.
3 years. So what made you make the switch?
What made me make the switch was, I guess I'll give you the long story short, I kind of was just the average meat eater. In fact, I was probably more towards that end of the spectrum. I was a hardcore meat eater, right? I used to work at a butcher shop all the business. Yeah, about 3-4 years, man. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I made one vegan friend. I didn't even know she was vegan. And basically I just told her why she was dumb. I told her all the reasons she was wrong. Yeah, I thought vegans were a joke, man. I couldn't understand. I just couldn't understand why someone would be vegan. It's ridiculous to me.
I understand it.
Right, yeah. So I was just way down that end. And she just answered my questions. I started trying to I kind of ran out of arguments a little bit. I was like, surely there's a good reason we do this, obviously, because everyone does it. And basically I started doing research and slowly realizing we've got no good justification to be doing this kind of stuff to an animal.
So what do you do instead of eating meat and stuff? How do you still get all of everything your body needs?
Well, everything...
Red meat and everything, what do you replace it?
Yeah, so I was very concerned with that initially, right? I was like, oh, protein, where do you get protein?
Where do you get it all?
Dude, and then I didn't even think, look at gorillas, elephants, turtles, all our biggest, strongest, oldest animals on this earth.
Don't eat meat.
Vegan, man, right? It's like, how did we get tricked into this idea that we need meat for protein? These animals that we're getting that are growing gigantic, they're getting their protein from plants as well.
What do you do? What do you replace it with?
So basically what I eat is just there's protein in a whole bunch of plants. I eat I love a bit of tofu, tempeh, that kind of stuff, but I also eat just...
You're not using like meds or something to...
No, I don't wake up every morning and do my protein injection. Dude, basically everything I get is just from whole food plant-based diets. So beans, legumes, chickpeas, lentils, these kinds of things, packed with protein. Vegetables, right, nuts, seeds.
Did you feel that you were still hungry after you ate, like when you first started?
No.
You didn't, so you were still hungry?
No, I wasn't still hungry. Yeah, after. So some people say this to me, and now it makes sense to me a bit at the time. You know, I was like, yeah, I could see how someone says, oh man, vegan food just doesn't fill me up.
Yeah.
I would ask, have you ever eaten 20 kilos of potatoes in one sitting?
Fuck, not 20 kilos, mate. So
no, why not? Plants don't fill you up. You get full, right?
Sure, you get full.
Come on, man. So what it is, the reason I think this happens is because plants are less calorically dense, right? Okay. Animal flesh, dairy, cheese, all these things, super high in calorie density, but also high in things like we don't want, cholesterol, saturated fat, things like that, right? That's why we've got such a high obese population. But really dense in calories, right? So we would eat kind of smaller amounts, it seems like, but the same amount of calories in plants is more food, which I actually personally love to find that out, right? I was like, I can just eat all of this. I can eat plants until I'm full. Don't think about, I got to have this steak here and this portion, and it's got to make up one plate. I can have 2 plates of vegan food.
My partner used to be vegetarian.
Yeah.
There's a vegan place she wants to try, but what would you recommend eating at a vegan place?
At a vegan place?
For someone who eats meat.
Yep, okay. So what I would do, especially when I first went vegan, I was eating more plant-based meats, right? Yeah. Things like that. So at a vegan place, generally they'll have some like plant-based chicken or stuff like that. Yeah. I recommend that because it's a great way to see that we can have the exact same taste and texture of these products that we love in animals, but from plants without the violence, right? It's exactly the same everything without the violence. So that's something I recommend if you're a meat lover.
And what about eggs? So
eggs?
I might try that because I think she's looking to go on Saturday.
Yeah.
Eggs. Do you think eggs are bad or good?
See this footage here?
Yeah, they're all the bad eggs. That's why I'm asking.
That's actually free-range egg farming in Australia, which is our most humane method of egg production.
That's supposed to be the best. And,
right.
Okay.
The reason that's happening, if you'd like to know, is because the baby boys, right? For every female hen born, there's a baby male, a chick, who's not going to produce eggs. And they're not the same breed as the chickens we use for meat that grow like 4 times as large, right? These Frankensteins. So they're a waste product. They're not going to make money. So they just kill them. Macerator, that footage there was the most common used method, but sometimes they'll just suffocate them in giant garbage bags. 80 to 90% of chickens in commercial egg production in Australia are estimated to have osteoporosis, right? Bone disease. Most of them, the vast majority, yeah. And that's just because we bred them to produce so many eggs. It drains all these nutrients from their bodies, right? So just the existence of the modern day egg producing chicken is almost cruel. Just that it exists. Yeah, well, I never used to know it until just a few years ago. Yeah, eggs just they just shit eggs out, right? Yeah. I used to think the exact same things. And there's a whole lot of stuff that I used to know. I didn't even know that a cow needed to be pregnant or lactating to produce milk.
I mean, yeah, I didn't know that either. I thought they just milked the fuck.
Exactly.
I thought you just milk it.
But it makes sense, right? It's a mammal, just like a human.
Just like human, it needs.
A human produces milk for its baby. A gorilla, a giraffe, all these things, they produce milk for their babies. Who do cow produce milk for?
Us.
Us.
Not really their babies, we steal them.
But they produce it, the biological reason is for their babies, right?
Yeah,
and we're taking it. And so that's why here, this footage is Australian dairy farming. Those cows are the baby calves.
And how old is this footage though? Is this like recent footage or is this?
Yeah,
like
some of this is more recent, some of this is...
Like
oh no, this is definitely...
Have they changed some of these?
No, this is all the current practices. So we don't even need to tell you this. You can go on the RSPCA website and right there in front of you, it'll say humane methods, you know, put a bolt gun into the back of the cow's skull, hang it up by its hind leg and slash its throat. Right? Just no one reads it, right?
Yeah, I've never read that one. I mean, I've seen the cow and the pigs hanging up and stuff, and that's fucked as it is. It's not right.
Yeah, well, not only is this...
See, the blood, they just let the blood drain out and stuff.
That's how they die. So they supposedly stun them with the bolt gun, and they crush their cerebellum and supposedly consciousness. Obviously, that doesn't always work for an animal that is not wanting to die, not wanting to be there. And then they... slice its throat and the blood drains out. That's how it dies, is from loss of blood.
They do the same thing with pigs, I think. That's how they do pigs.
Exactly, yeah. There should be some pig footage here, but...
I saw some, it was pretty fun. Yeah. It's been lovely talking to you. I appreciate this.
Pleasure, man.
Have a look. My partner, as I said, she was like vegan, vegetarian sort of thing, but then she came back off it about 2 or 3 years ago.
I appreciate your open-mindedness, man.
I'm very open to this, man.
Awesome. Well, I'll leave you with something to look into if you want,
then.
then.
You got anything?
This documentary is #1, right? This documentary is free to watch online.
Some guy is behind
Chris Delforce is...
I've seen this guy,
Okay, yeah, he's making a name for himself, that's for sure. That's in this one I've given you here.
Oh, it's
right on the inside, yep.
Yeah.
So, this basically, the reason he's in the media is because farmers are like, we don't like him because he's showing... Like, if you were a farmer, would you want people to be seeing this?
No chance.
Because it's going to turn them off your products, right?
Yeah, we don't... When I say product, I look at the back.
we care about animals. From kids from birth. Care about animals. And this whole industry, eating animals and doing this, paying for this kind of stuff that happens to animals, relies on pushing us as far away from the product as we can. Just this neatly wrapped package. We don't even think of it as an animal body part, right? It's just a dismembered body part, but we just think of it as like, oh, chicken breast meat. It's the whole thing. Us relies on just us saying, yeah, it tastes good, and then disconnect and misinformation, right? That fact about cows producing milk, that's something so basic. So basic. We understand every other animal produces milk for its young. And cows, we just think cow's milk is for us. You never even think about it some other way. And so that was kind of one of the facts that just uncovering it helped me realize there's actually a whole lot that has kind of been pulled over our eyes, so we can't really actually see what we're paying for with our hard-earned money, right? And if we knew, most compassionate people, they would never do it. Exactly. So that documentary basically just opens the eyes. Yeah, it's really impactful, really strong.
Big documentary that turns everyone into a vegan is that I've heard about. There's some big documentary that people watch and then become like a vegan, a vegetarian.
I don't know. It's pretty strong. Who knows? It might change the way you look at things. It changed the way I look at things for sure. It's part of the reason I'm out here. And some of these other ones down here, the greatest speech you ever hear. That's just a YouTube video by this guy named Gary Yourofsky.
You just type it in on YouTube, it'll pop up?
That's a fantastic speech. And another one, Game Changers. They're probably my 3 favorite documentaries on this one. That's just on Netflix, Game Changers. That just talks about people like Patrick Boom and Nemo Delgado basically performing on a vegan diet and just really smashing this myth out of the park that not only can you be completely healthy and thrive on a plant-based diet, you can perform at an elite level, like world record-breaking athletes.
It's full on, man. It's good.
Lots of stuff. Thanks for the time, man.
Have a good
Have a
night.
good one.